It's the first totally new Park Avenue in a decade. When we talk about Park Avenue's character, the things people look for in Buick Park Avenue and Ultra, they're all here in even greater number and in greater degree for 1997. It's a tremendous opportunity for Buick to keep winning those traditional fans of full-size Buick luxury and to get the attention of a whole new generation of buyers who are ready for Park Avenue. The 1997 Park Avenue and Park Avenue Ultra. When we call them all new, we're talking about everything from the advanced body structure to the inside to the underside. It's your biggest opportunity, but also your biggest challenge. It's the first totally new Park Avenue, both in structure and styling, in more than a decade. And unless you get customers into the car, they may not appreciate just how much has evolved in Buick's most luxurious motor car. For this Product Master segment, we've assembled the Park Avenue team who are responsible for the 1997 Park Avenue to share some of their thinking behind all the changes, the reasons why, so that you can deliver an even stronger Park Avenue story. Also, we'll have automotive consultant Bob Strange at the steering wheel for a very instructive demo drive. Instructive because you'll find lots of information to use right away in your own sales presentations. In outward appearance, Park Avenue is a striking but not radical departure from our previous generation of styling. In fact, it perfectly embodies the term contemporary classic. With its traditional subtle elegance and commanding stance and body lines that flow gracefully from curve to curve, it's a design that will still feel refreshingly original to its owners for many years after they decide to make a Park Avenue their own. Of course, many of the changes in the way Park Avenue looks are more than simply good form. They're also a matter of improved function. Just a few quick examples. Flush-mounted door handles for quiet performance at highway speeds. Larger side mirrors positioned on the A-pillar to enhance the driver's view of the world outside. And single-piece headlamps to enhance fit and finish.
We felt it was very important in the development of the design of this car to incorporate those great Buick traditions from eras of the past. The grille, for instance, with its oval shape and its vertical texture, the graceful flowing lines of the sides of the automobile. This car is a new mix, too, in many ways. This new body structure that we've talked about, this new depth from the bottom of the car clear to the roof line. There's more headroom in this car, for instance, and that adds to that depth. We've also considered part of that comfort as being the ease with which you can get in and out of the car. The top of the front door, for instance, and the windshield are contoured in such a way that the path of the head swing of the person getting in and out is comprehended, and it's simply easier to get in and out of this car than many of our competitors. One of the features of the Riviera that's key, I think, to its success as an aesthetic statement is what we call the chamfer plane. Just above the belt line on the inside of the front fender, right at the very front, we start this sharp little crease just above the headlamps. It sweeps back over the front fender, then back into the belt line, across the tops of the doors, and then ultimately rises to its highest peak just as the upper crests at the rear, and then it finally fades out into just a whisper right at the tail lamp and is gone. On the other hand, because these planes are canted inward, the car does not reveal itself totally to you at a glance. When you first see the car on the street, you see the more robust and somewhat silky upper side surfaces, but these chamfer planes are hidden. Then as you walk around the car or as you experience driving it, they reveal themselves to you. We want an automobile that is not faddish in any way. It's not a here today, gone tomorrow kind of idea. This car is meant to be dignified, serene, and yet romantic and sleek. It's meant to have youthful flair and yet be the result of mature judgment. In other words, we want a design classic that defines the center of this market. We are this market.
When the brand team comes to us and asks us for a product, they're looking for the comfort and convenience to their customers. We have to provide that within an engineering framework. When we developed the Riviera, we wanted to make world-class body structure, and we achieved that. We beat the world. And the 97 Park Avenue is the next generation of that product, and we think we've made it even better. We have an all-steel upper tie bar. We have closed-section upper rails, the hydroform windshield pillar, exposed roof rails, which give the roof rails much more strength and stiffness, a larger section rocker panel, a structural tunnel with a doubler reinforcement, and also a number 4 bar now, which is a closed section which enhances side impact. Also, the one-piece floor panel starts at the driver and passenger's feet, and it's a one-piece stamping that goes right the way to the rear of the vehicle. That helps us in eliminating leaks into the passenger compartment because it is totally seamless from the front to the rear. All of these additional structural things that we've improved on help us to reduce vibration in the vehicle and give the driver and passenger a much more solid, pleasing ride. When your customers hit a pothole in this vehicle, they're not going to feel the same way they did. It's a totally different feel. It's going to feel more robust. This is a totally different car, a totally different feel.
The 1997 Park Avenue is powered by an engine that's already been named one of Ward's Auto World's top 10 engines. The 3800 Series 2 V6, which turns out 205 horsepower and 230 foot-pounds of torque. For 1997, the 3800 Series 2 includes improvements in engine and exhaust sealing that help minimize fluid and emissions leaks and make for quiet running with this already very smooth engine. Ultra comes standard with the energetic performance of the 3800 Series 2 supercharged V6. The numbers tell the story. 240 horsepower and the sheer muscle of 280 foot-pounds of torque. We talk a lot about torque when we talk about performance characteristics. It's a factor that's critical for customers who desire balanced power, strong and responsive in the passing lane with confident, smooth acceleration. It's also an important competitive advantage for Park Avenue over many of our top rivals. During his demo drive in a few minutes, Bob Strange will give us a useful perspective on torque and how you can make this advantage come alive for your customers. The 3800 Series 2 is teamed with a new 4-speed automatic transmission with overdrive. It's smarter in just about every way, with a new electronically controlled converter clutch for improved performance and quieter operation. And it adjusts automatically over the life of the car to maximize shifting performance. And the onboard diagnostic system watches over key emissions and engine systems and alerts drivers if it detects a fall-off in performance. That can help them get in for service early enough to avoid complete system failure. You know that every customer you see is an individual with specific tastes and a unique set of priorities that guide their vehicle purchase. Well, experienced Buick salespeople have told us it always helps to be able to shape a presentation of interior amenities so it's most relevant to each customer's needs. Let's start by talking comfort, which is probably the first thing you notice when you enter the 1997 Park Avenue and experience its comfort for the first time. New 10-way power seats are standard up front, with a switch design that mimics the shape of the seats for easy fingertip adjustment. Ultra's standard seating package includes soft leather accents in the seating areas, with a 4-way power lumbar for the driver, which is also available on Park Avenue sedans. Here's another Park Avenue comfort innovation that also makes it easier to play it safe: the all belts to seat design of the front safety belts. This design lets the belt travel with the seat, so driver and front passenger can always feel comfortable no matter how their seat is adjusted. The adjustable head restraints allow more customization to individual tastes. On Ultra, they're powered in front and can be tilted forward and backward for added personal comfort. In back, New theater seating is shaped to provide firm, supple support for rear passengers. Climate control is what you might expect, easy to use and easy to personalize to individual preferences throughout the Park Avenue. Separate controls let the driver and passenger adjust independent temperature zones. And adjustable flow controls give rear seat passengers a way to set climate to their liking. Temperature in the rear is controlled by the front passenger setting. Now, for customers who value the state-of-the-art in their driving experience, you can build a Park Avenue interior presentation around an array of advanced technology that's sensibly configured and designed to make real luxury uncomplicated. The new wraparound instrument panel features larger, easier-to-read displays. Standard on Ultra and available on Park Avenue is a new driver information center, a two-line display that reports the car's vital signs at the touch of a button. Drivers can call up instant fuel economy readings, set 3 separate trip odometers, monitor tire pressure, change personal choice settings, and receive warnings for low coolant level, door or trunk ajar, change oil soon, and more. Traditional Park Avenue seating normally accommodates 6 adults, but the available split front seat creates seating for 5 and gives a special new convenience console to front occupants that's loaded with high-tech amenities for customers who frequently handle business on the road. A lighted writing surface, dual auxiliary power outlets for laptop computers, plus pre-wiring for a GM cellular phone. Even without the console, Park Avenue customers have access to auxiliary power for a computer or cellular fax here in front of the split bench seat. Park Avenue's power-loading AM/FM stereo cassette is more smart stuff from the easy-to-use Buick family of radios, with features like Radio Monitor, which lets customers listen to a favorite station while rewinding a tape. Ultra's standard sound system is the power-loading CD player with electronic tone control and the protection of theft lock. And Ultra gives drivers the convenience of steering wheel radio and climate controls, also available for Park Avenue. Here's one more exciting development for the 97 Park Avenue. Moisture-sensing wipers, standard on Ultra and available on Park Avenue. The system actually senses how much rain or snow is on the windshield and swipes across as needed, without forcing drivers to keep adjusting their wiper delay. Park Avenue's state-of-the-art technology, an ability to bring together sophisticated technology in a way that truly adds convenience and gives drivers a few less things to worry about. Though the styling or the interior feel may be the first thing you talk about, nearly every prospect you see wants reassurance that the luxury sedan they buy is designed for safety. And like all Buicks, the 97 Park Avenue is definitely strong on safety. In addition to dual front airbags for 1997, there's an additional feature. The doors automatically unlock 15 seconds after any airbag deployment to allow anyone inside to get outside quickly. At the sides, additional crash-absorbing protection has been designed into the new Park Avenue, which fully meets the 1997 Federal Side Impact Standards. For accident avoidance, the 4-wheel disc anti-lock brake system features larger discs for confident stops on most slippery surfaces. And new daytime running lamps make Park Avenue and Ultra easier to see. They're part of the standard Twilight Sentinel feature, and they operate without any burden on the driver, part of Park Avenue's Convenience Plus. Here's something brand new, the IQ head-up windshield display system. Available on Park Avenue and Ultra, this head-up display projects readouts for speed, turn signals, high beam, and check gauges on the windshield to help drivers keep their eyes on the road. There's more on this exciting state-of-the-art option coming up in our Park Avenue demo drive. You can point your customers to a long list of added protection, all standard on Park Avenue and Ultra. The larger electric outside rearview mirrors I mentioned are heated on Ultra, and the driver's mirror adjusts automatically to cut glare in nighttime driving. Rear seat head restraints, which are adjustable on Ultra. Easy adjusting comfort guides have been added to the rear shoulder belts to make it simple for passengers to position the belts for their comfort. And rear door child security locks take good care of families. Spend a little time talking about Park Avenue's many protections, and your prospects will feel even more confident about the prospect of driving one home. A big part of that enriching relationship that customers can enjoy with the 1997 Park Avenue is all the security it gives them. The protection starts here with the Passkey 3 theft deterrent system. Now, there are 3 trillion possible code combinations. If the Park Avenue doesn't detect the right code, it doesn't start. Remote keyless entry is now standard on Park Avenue as well as Ultra. It has an instant alarm and, of course, an alarm shutoff. And it's the key to Park Avenue's personal choice. With your help or by themselves, owners can create 2 unique sets of preferences for a range of security and convenience features, which go into action with the touch of the unlock button. Perimeter lighting, for example. 15 seconds of exterior lighting to illuminate the area around the car when I approach and make it easier to find my way. The driver's preference for automatic programmable door locks also goes into action to determine whether the doors lock automatically when the Park Avenue is put into gear. Delayed locking can be turned on or off. This is the feature that keeps the power locks from engaging until 5 seconds after the doors are locked. So it's easy to get back inside and retrieve groceries or a briefcase or your day planner. And security feedback, the verification that signals yes, the lock's engaged when I use the fob. A part of Park Avenue's Convenience Plus feature set deserves a note here as you build the security story for your customers. It's lockout protection. The door locks will not work if Park Avenue senses your customer has left the key in the ignition. Well, those are some standard Park Avenue protections. They go hand in hand with long-life spark plugs, coolant, and transmission fluid to boost Park Avenue's service intervals to 100,000 miles. Battery rundown protection to shut interior lights off and keep customers from being stranded. And premium roadside assistance for 3 years or 36,000 miles. And that carries forward the Park Avenue tradition in fitting style. A tradition that made it the best overall American value over $13,000 in 1995 from IntelliChoice's 1995 Complete Car Cost Guide.
Cars have become extensions of people's personalities and their lifestyles. So the emotional attachment that we must create between the new Park Avenue and its buyers is critical. And this appeal must not only capture the interest of the loyal, returning Park Avenue buyer, but it must also capture the interest of import and other domestic luxury car buyers and draw them to the Park Avenue, many for the very first time. As part of our early research efforts, we utilized a state-of-the-art interactive test vehicle capable of making some 2 million on-the-spot adjustments, such as control position, seating configuration, seating cab roominess, and so on. And that guided us in establishing Park Avenue's design parameters.
When you create a totally new version of a trusted and popular Buick car line, you work to ensure that you carry forward the momentum of the brand and improve on every characteristic that's important to the car line's potential buyer. From the start, the development of the Park Avenue was guided by a thorough benchmarking process to make sure the 97 Park Avenue goes beyond what other cars in the luxury segment traditionally offer. Cars like the Lincoln Continental, Chrysler LHS, and even the previous Park Avenue editions. We set ambitious targets in body structure stiffness, ride smoothness, quietness as measured in wind noise, road noise, and engine noise, performance in 0 to 60 time, stopping distance, fuel economy and cruising range, and human factors, which includes the overall level of convenience and ease of use. In every one of these key areas, the 1997 Park Avenue exceeded our benchmark.
A test drive in the Park Avenue should be a very personal, individualized experience for the customer. Therefore, it needs to not only include elements that will emphasize the strengths of the new Park Avenue, but it also should mirror the habits and driving style of that potential customer. Therefore, we really need to look at 2 major things. One is where to do the demo drive, And the second thing is, what are the needs or wants of that particular customer? Now, where to do the demo drive should really be approached based on introducing the personality of a Park Avenue. And that's a luxury car that's very approachable, very manageable, and very comfortable for the customer. Now, cars have personalities just like people do, so you really need to take a look at the broad spectrum here. You want to have a demo drive area set up so that you are in city streets, stop-and-go situations, so you can look at the torque scenario. How quickly and easily does the vehicle accelerate? How maneuverable is it in tight spaces? You also want to have a situation during your demo drive that emphasizes the ride aspect. So you want to have some bumpy roads, maybe railroad tracks or rough surfaces. You also want to look at handling. And from a handling standpoint, you need to have a higher speed, winding type of road surface. And then you want to take a look at freeway type driving, the type of driving that a lot of people in this market are going to do a lot of. How easy is the vehicle to merge out on the expressway, and frankly, how easy is it to drive in a straight line? That's a major issue as well. Now, all of these things need to be available for the demo drive, but you don't necessarily have to do all four, depending upon the customer. Find out whether your customer's main interest is in performance, or is it safety, or is it ride, or comfort, noise, any of those parameters. And try and prioritize those. Get to know them so that you get an idea of what their priorities are there. Use that information and then gear the demo drive around it. For example, if their big priority is performance, you may want to start with the Ultra instead of the Park Avenue. And that's a real good way to make sure that you just hone in on your customer's needs and use all of the information that you obtain there to have a very successful demo drive.
Now, before we start our demo drive, there's a few new things for 97 that we want to refer to here that go along with this personal choice scenario on the Park Avenue. One is that now when you unlock the doors, not only do the seats and mirrors get adjusted for that driver, but also the presets for the radio and the climate control also get personalized. Something else that's new for this year is the way that the seat belts are designed. It's called an all belts to seats design. When you buckle up the seat belt system, you'll notice that the belts are attached directly to the seat. Well, what this does is allows the belt to stay in the same position regardless of where you position the seats. And your customer has a lot of choices as far as personalizing the seats, because we have a 10-position electrical seat adjustment for 97 and 10 different ways of adjusting it. Make sure that each customer is going to have the seat adjusted exactly where they want it to be. Now, two other things you want to look at. The Driver Information Center. This is something, again, that's new, and it's an electronic readout on the dash that can tell you a wide variety of information about the engine and about other aspects of driving. One of the things that's real interesting is it can even tell you whether or not a tire is going down on air pressure. It reads out a low inflation pressure warning situation here. Now, some of your customers may not be that into electronic controls and electronic information, but really need to show that to them, because again, this really gets into the personalization of the vehicle. They can pick and choose what type of information they want to be read out to them. The last thing is a head-up display. This reads out the speed in a digital form up on the windshield, directly in front of their line of sight. Now, this can easily be adjusted as well, and it actually can be turned off for those customers who may not want to have it there under certain conditions. Now, by going through all of these new features, we can point out that the new Park Avenue can really be personalized for that individual, and I think it'll really help on the demo drive as well for people to get very comfortable with the car right up front even before you take off. Park Avenue is designed to be smooth, responsive, and quiet. And the ride and handling basically are geared to create a comfortable environment and a real personal environment for the driver. And we're using obviously a combination of the suspension system, the steering, the balance power, and the completely new body structure. Now, feel free to compare the Park Avenue to any of the European or Japanese luxury vehicles. And key domestics like the Chrysler LHS and the Continental, the new body structure and the suspension redesign, well, those things make for a vehicle that really can be compared with anything else in its class. Now, torque, not horsepower, is what really supplies the acceleration when you're taking off from a stop sign or a stoplight or trying to merge onto an expressway. The torque is what allows you to easily merge with traffic and speed up without having to kick the transmission down into passing gear. Some customers may question the use of a 6-cylinder engine in the Park Avenue. And one thing you need to keep in mind is that it's not just the number of cylinders that can be used to create horsepower. It's actually in the engine design itself. For example, Indy cars have used 6-cylinder engines for many years, and they obviously do pretty well when it comes to a horsepower standpoint. In an 8-cylinder engine, for example, more cylinders creates more friction, more moving parts, and takes up more space. Now, the modern supercharged 3800 Series 2 engine in the Park Avenue Ultra puts out 240 horsepower and 280 foot-pounds of torque, which should be more than adequate for any of your customers' needs. Now, in this demo drive, the effect of the new rigid body structure on the Park Avenue is going to be noticed in virtually every aspect of its performance. The Park Avenue body structure is 39% stiffer in torsion and 54% stiffer in bending. Now, with this increased stiffness in the body structure, squeaks and rattles are minimized. The doors and windows fit a lot tighter. The suspension actually works better as well because the body structure doesn't flex, and the suspension engineers can design the suspension system to do all of the work for the ride and handling, for example. Now, ride, handling, and vibration, durability, all those things are affected by this rigid body structure. Ride is one thing that's very subjective, and I think you need to deal with each individual customer very carefully here. The Park Avenue has been tuned to strike a happy medium, so to speak. You want to emphasize that aspect of the Park Avenue. Don't try and concentrate or compare it to a sports car. Don't worry about the handling so much, but concentrate on the fact that it's a combination of ride and handling that is really very responsive, controllable, and gives you a very secure feeling. It strikes a real good balance between that real tight, maybe overly stiff feel of a European sedan and that cushy feel that you get in some of the larger sedans that maybe some of your customers have been used to. One last thing that the rigid body structure will have a big effect on in the Park Avenue is that the Park Avenue will continue to feel tight and new and rigid throughout its life because you don't have as much flexing to fatigue the body structure itself and to start maybe a few squeaks and rattles as the vehicle gets older. You don't have to worry about that anymore. The vehicle will stay feeling new throughout its whole lifetime. Now, the magnetic variable effort steering has a new feature this year that you'll definitely want to mention to your customers. As you remember, with the variable effort steering at low speeds, you have a lower steering effort to make it easier to park. As you speed up, the steering effort increases with increasing speed to give you better feel out on the highway. New for this year is a feature whereby your customer can actually bring the Park Avenue into the service department and have the steering adjusted to their liking. You can make the steering effort increase or decrease throughout the range to suit any individual customer. And I think this is a great feature to, again, be able to personalize the Park Avenue for the customer. Well, that just about concludes our demo drive. Now, we've spent a lot of time showing all of the major aspects of the Park Avenue, looking at some of its strengths in terms of ride and handling and noise and things like that. But we want to remember to also pay attention to the little things. And just a real quick list of some of these things. The moisture sensing wipers, for example. The dual comfort temp controls. The steering wheel radio controls that are in the vehicle. And that Concert Sound 3 with 9 speakers and 150 watts of power. Now, those things are important too, and you never know what's really going to trigger interest in an individual customer. So you want to keep in mind those little things that can be so very important to each customer. And I think the last thing we want to look at here is that the demo drive is not only to be used to show off all of these features to an individual, but really the goal of the demo drive is that when we're done with it, that individual customer really feels like it's not just a Park Avenue, that it's their Park Avenue.
We know Buick has built a bond of trust with Park Avenue luxury and quality over the years. That gives you a big advantage from the word go with a large population of current, loyal owners. You're also hearing about how the 1997 Park Avenue and Ultra have a broader appeal than ever. What this means to you as Buick sales professionals is 3 substantial new opportunities, in addition to the traditional loyal Park Avenue owners. First, you can appeal to a new generation of younger buyers who want a luxury car that signals an intelligent choice over a more expensive alternative. Second, it's an all-new Park Avenue from the ground up for the first time in 12 model years. Features like the new world-class structural stiffness can help us conquest the buyer who likes the taut, responsive feel of European luxury sedan. Third, 80% of Roadmaster buyers returning to market in the next year have told us they're predisposed to staying with Buick. Early feedback shows 2/3 of that group intend to make their next car a Park Avenue.
The 1997 Park Avenue is filling a tall order. It's Buick's flagship full-size luxury sedan, and it's reaching out to a broader audience, younger, perhaps import buyers. And because we're reaching out to these buyers, some of them not traditionally Buick buyers, it will be critical for Buick salespeople to know the many sides to the Park Avenue success story. The state-of-the-art structure and luxury conveniences, the compelling comfort story, and the reassuring, confident performance. In fact, salespeople can succeed with Park Avenue on so many levels. Safety, security, the smooth, solid ride, the interior comfort, all the personalization that lets customers make Park Avenue their own. And salespeople really have a story to tell from the ground up. The first major underbody revision since Park Avenue went to the front-wheel drive configuration in 1986. It's an exciting year for Park Avenue and for Buick.
Well, that's the story of the all-new 1997 Park Avenue. You've heard from the experts and discovered the highly personal appeal that this extraordinary new automobile will have for an even broader array of customers. Now you're ready to take that message to your Park Avenue prospects on the selling floor. From focused walk-around to compelling test drive, you have all the elements you need to make them believers in a special kind of luxury that's unmistakably Buick. A pleasure to drive, comfortable to own, a trusted companion that will carry them wherever they're going in Park Avenue style.